I have spent 14 weeks trying out these products on my sensitive skin, and I'm ready to tell you what I like, what I don't like, and why. Welcome back to another Health Hackers review. This one is a first of a kind for me. Never before have I made a Health Hackers video about skin creams. I've certainly reviewed skin-related items here on the channel, like the Lima laser, which claims to be the world's most powerful at-home beauty device. And although that did come with a couple of skin topicals, the video was mostly about the laser. Or there was the Eye Restore laser therapy helmet designed to promote hair growth that I made a video about. Also, my trial with a near-infrared and red light therapy panel from Red Light Rising. I'll link to all of those in the summary text that goes with this video. But this episode, this is my debut foray into reviewing skin creams. I've spent the last 14 weeks trying out 4 products by Soteri on my sensitive skin. Soteri is a relatively new brand that says its products are formulated to be safe for the most sensitive of skin and even damaged skin. It also claims to be the first and only skincare that offers long-term pH correction. Get comfy, we're going to talk more about pH. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about how I've been using these products. I'm going to play you parts of my interview with Soteri's co-founder, Jen Wan. I asked her questions that might be helpful for you if you're deciding whether or not to buy these creams. Then I'll wrap up this video by outlining my likes and dislikes about my experience with Soteri's products. But first, 3 important points to make. Number 1, if you are new to the Health Hackers channel, hello, I'm Gemma, I'm a journalist. I make honest review videos of wellness innovations and I interview pioneering people in health. If you enjoy this video, I would love it if you hit the like button or even subscribe and leave me a comment below. Number 2, I take pride in being transparent with you, so you should know that of the 4 Soteri products I've been trying out, I bought and paid for 2 of them and Soteri sent me the other 2 for free, which is why you saw the paid promotions notification at the beginning of this video. Soteri has not had any editorial control over my opinions of its products and what I say in this review. Also, there's a discount code for you to buy your own Soteri products in the summary text that goes with this video. When you use that code, I will receive an amount at no extra cost to you. Please remember, my reviews represent good faith and honest opinion. I will be telling you what I like as well as what I don't like about these products in this video. And number 3, anything on Health Hackers should not be considered personal or medical advice. Talk to your skincare and healthcare providers about you. Okay, let's begin. If you've been following me on Instagram or reading the Health Hackers website for a while now, you might think it makes sense that I'm interested in skincare innovations, given that I've experienced some skin challenges in the past. In fact, an article I wrote about my perioral dermatitis journey, the wonder drink, the comeback, the staph infection, and the clear up is currently the most viewed page on the Health Hackers website. I'll link to that in the summary text if you want to read about those miserable past experiences with suspected perioral dermatitis, a staph infection, impetigo, rosacea, and my results from comprehensive skin patch allergy testing for various different chemical ingredients. It makes my skin crawl just recalling it all. But the good news is my skin got better. For the last 2 years on the whole, I've been pleased with my complexion. And over several years, I've learned a lot about what I shouldn't use on my skin, about my individual chemical sensitivities, about the potential importance of gut microbiome health and specific probiotics and prebiotics, their possible impact on the skin, the potential effects of hormonal changes, certain vitamins, nutrients, and how the pH level of the products I use on my skin could play a key role in my skin's health. And by pH level, I mean how acidic or alkaline they are. Do you remember studying the pH scale at school? So pH 0 is super acidic, like battery acid. 7 is neutral, like water. And right at the other end of the scale, pH 14 is really alkaline. Drain cleaner is an example. The pH level of our skin is thought to be anywhere from a 4.2 to a 6, depending on which article, study, or skincare expert's quote you read online. So it is slightly acidic, and my understanding is if skin gets knocked out of its optimal pH level too often and for too long, it could lead to sensitivity, dry spots, the worsening of eczema, acne, and the growth of unwanted bacteria. bacteria. Things that could cause it to be knocked out of kilter include the products you use on your skin, your environment, even long hot showers. So not long after those past skin dramas that I mentioned, I bought some test strips on Amazon and started checking my skin products to make sure I wasn't using anything that was too high, too alkaline on the pH scale. Remember, I had dealt with a staph infection on my face, so I wanted to keep my skin's pH level in an optimally slightly acidic range to help prevent a repeat of that kind of bacterial growth. I actually wrote another article about skin pH and my home testing with some great input from dermatologists. I'll link to that in the summary text too. Then, fast forward about 2 years, I came across Soteri and saw the brand's whole marketing message was all about correcting the skin's pH level. I reached out and got talking to the co-founder, Jen 1. I even told her about my pH testing habit. Now, Soteri says it's developed something called pH Lock, a blend of ingredients it claims sets and maintains an optimal pH of 4.7 for 12 plus hours. When I started using Soteri's range, I kept notes about my experiences with the 4 products I'm going to talk about in this video. I used each one for at least 3 consecutive weeks at a time, and that's because Soteri says its formulation works best when used daily for 3+ weeks. So here's how it went. I started with Balancing Act, described as a lightweight restorative treatment for the face that can be used on sensitive skin, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea and acne. I used it like any other moisturiser, under makeup and applying after cleansing at night. What struck me about Balancing Act was the initial tingling, almost stinging sensation that led me to wonder if I was having some kind of sensitivity reaction to it. It would go away, or at least reduce significantly after around 30 minutes, but it was uncomfortable. In an email from Jen's co-founder, Rafal, I was told stinging is an indication that your skin barrier is somehow compromised. As your skin barriers strengthen, the stinging should be less intense and eventually completely go away. More on that tingling effect is coming up in my interview with Jen shortly. Now, even when most of the stingy tingling had subsided, at around day 8, I felt that Balancing Act was too light in texture for me, not as hydrating or quenching as I usually liked, and I'd been applying other moisturisers over the top to make up for that. Ultimately, after 3 weeks with Balancing Act, I didn't observe that my skin was significantly better in any way. In fact, I think I developed some very small, slightly raised bumps in the sensitive areas around my cheeks and chin. I can't say what caused that. Rafal suggested it could have been a response to the high concentration of hydroxy acids in Balancing Act. In hindsight, maybe the product was too strong for me. Who knows? It could have been my hormones. I'm still breastfeeding after having my baby last year. So then I started incorporating Soteri's Bebe skin cream. It's made for the face and body and is described as gentle healing for the most delicate skin. It's thicker and creamier and contains more oils than Balancing Act, like shea butter, coconut oil and sunflower oil. After 3 weeks of incorporating it, so sometimes layering it on top of Balancing Act for the creamier feel, those mini bumps I mentioned weren't so significant anymore. My skin felt calm and comfortable. More comfortable than when I was using Balancing Act by itself. So that's 2 Soteri products tested. The next one came after Jen, the co-founder, told me in an email that No More Rough Patches may be a better product for me because its consistency is similar to Bebe Skin, but the pH lock is apparently stronger. After 3 weeks of incorporating No More Rough Patches, which is made for face and body, I didn't feel bowled over by it. I still had some of those tiny raised bumps in my sensitive areas. I actually felt my skin had been more comfortable in general before I started using any of the Soteri creams. But at this point in my trials for review, the best feeling had come from using Bebe Skin. At the end of those 3 weeks, I switched back to one of my trusted non-Soteri moisturisers, one by Gladskin, for about a week, just at night times, which felt soothing. But I kept using No More Rough Patches in the mornings because I wanted to keep some of the supposed pH lock benefits. I also liked it as a softening hand cream. My skin felt comfortable. By the way, you know I value transparency, so you should also know I'm a Gladskin affiliate partner, and if you see a Gladskin discount code or link in the summary text that goes with this video, know that I am paid an amount at no extra cost to you if you shop with that link. Okay, now back to my Soteri trials. The fourth and final product I used for 3 weeks was Gimme More. This one is described as a rich, creamy restorative treatment. It's for the face. My understanding is that it's similar to Balancing Act. That's the one I used first that I questioned was maybe too strong for me. But Gimme More has a creamier texture, probably because a couple of its key ingredients are shea butter and coconut oil. I used it morning and night, and there was no stinging. It felt good, better than when I used Balancing Act. Balancing Act had left my skin feeling like it needed more hydration or creaminess, but Gimme More just felt nice. For me, it seemed clear. This was the best cream for me of the 4 Soteri products I'd been trying out. But then, something unexpected happened. I'm going to save that revelation for later in this video because I want to show you my interview with Jen first. Remember, these creams are marketed as having a pH locked at 4.7, so I began my interview with Jen by asking, how does she know 4.7 is the perfect pH for everyone's skin?
We've actually based the foundation of our brand around the idea that skin's pH needs to be regulated and that pH is actually lower than what a lot of existing products on the market currently advertise. So there are a lot of studies around this, and I'll do my best to just kind of summarize the high-level takeaways of each of those, but I can also send you the links to these research papers later so you can add it to the video. Okay, but first, there are a number of studies on skin surface pH that show a wide range between 4.5 and 5.5. So then the question is, where exactly within that range? There are also studies that show that most environmental factors tend to increase rather than decrease skin surface pH. So your skin is actually working to lower its pH as it self-regulates. And then there are yet more studies that show that skin's enzymatic reactions, such as ceramide production, microbiome function, all of this depends on a more acidic, a lower pH. And then there are studies that also show that when your skin's pH increases, this can actually lead to destructive enzymes thriving, and which can result in irritation and poor functioning of your skin. So there's a lot of different things in there, and my co-founder Rafal is actually a biochemistry expert. He's worked on skin pH research for years in his postdoc and his work at L'Oreal. And through all of that, we came to the conclusion that 4.7 is the optimal pH for skin's functioning and for treating sensitive skin.
So if somebody has irritated, very sensitive skin, does that always mean that they have a pH problem?
So sensitive skin and pH problems do go hand in hand, but I wouldn't say that it always means that you have a problem with pH. Sensitive skin does imply, however, that there are some issues with your skin's health, and these health issues can include eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, acne, and a lot of these conditions do lead to increased skin surface pH and a weaker ability for your skin to rebalance its pH back to its happy lower level. So while skin surface pH doesn't always stem from a pH problem, what I'm saying is that they frequently work together.
Yeah, well, what I would like to know more about is the tingling and actual stinging feeling, because for me, as somebody with sensitive skin, when I first used Balancing Act, it felt like there could be a lot of irritation. Like the initial feeling was, wow, that's tingling. And if I hadn't been warned in your literature about there is a tingling sensation, but it's a good thing, I would have been very concerned indeed. So tell us a bit about why the tingling is a good thing and what it means.
Yeah, so first off, we have learned a lot from that, and now we know we need to give people ample warning and provide more information about it in our educational materials. And we're actually launching a new product very soon called Gentle Start, which has a reduced tingling sensation and a slightly higher pH that we're going to be offering to people who are new to Soteri Skin and maybe find that the tingling of our standard line is too strong. So hopefully that will provide the gentle start they need to go into full strength pH correction. But basically, the tingling sensation, you can think of it as like a diagnostic test for your skin barrier's strength. A healthy and resilient skin barrier is able to maintain a healthy lower pH on its skin surface, and also importantly, like a neutral, deeper pH, a neutral pH deeper into the skin, deeper into the epidermis. Thus, when skin's compromised, it allows for different molecules to penetrate the skin, and it actually disrupts this pH gradient between the outer and the inner layers of skin. And so when you apply a low pH cream on this compromised skin, it penetrates through and it actually activates receptors that result in this tingling, stinging sensation. So this is like a natural effect of pH being corrected on the surface and the inner levels of skin, and it's completely safe. And over time, the feeling will fade. However, we know it can. It's very different from other skincare, and that's why we are introducing the new product.
So I should think of the tingling as healing.
You can think of the tingling as your skin's pH being corrected, which will lead to healing.
Got it. Now, I know that Soteri says that it can lock the skin's pH at 4.7 for 12 hours. So how does it do that?
Yeah, so skin is a super dynamic environment, and many molecules are actually, they come into contact with your skin, and then your skin is secreting molecules, and all of this can affect your skin's pH. So our pH lock technology actually contains a variety of hydroxy acids, amino acids, fatty acids, and ingredients that are really carefully selected to provide something that's called a strong buffering capacity, which basically means you can think of it like the bumpers in a bowling lane. They're the bumpers that keep your pH from bouncing outside of its intended range. These ingredients are optimized in a way that their composition doesn't change when it comes into contact with your skin. Even if you're sweating or producing oil or you're stepping into pollution, they remain firm in their pH, like those bumpers, and are able to neutralize those pH changes and keep your pH at the very specific level we want it to be at.
And what should somebody see happen to their skin after using Soteri for as long as I have, for 3 months, when you total all 4 of the products I've tried on my face? What should I have seen change for me?
Yeah, so if you suffer from eczema, psoriasis, or rosacea, most people see visible improvements within 1 to 2 weeks. When by visible improvements, I mean reduction in symptoms such as itching or redness or flaking. Over time, people tend to see more long-term relief, such as reduction in flare frequency or severity. And some of our customers even become completely free of flare-ups with sustained use. Of course, this is a long-term, this stems from long-term systematic use of the product. Eczema is a chronic condition, and we're not saying we heal eczema and make it go away forever. But it can definitely be reduced in severity with regular maintenance of your skin surface pH.
For anyone who's concerned about anti-aging, like me, is there an element to helping your skin stay youthful when you correct the pH level?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like one of the things that the ingredients in our formulations actually do is they encourage more skin surface or skin cell renewal, meaning that it encourages the turnover of skin cells, which is something that you generally want when you're going for anti-aging. And also, a lot of the time, premature wrinkles are caused by skin irritation. Like, say your skin's really itchy and you're constantly scratching at it and picking at it. This can lead to wrinkles as well. And so by preventing that in the first place, you're able to take a proactive approach to anti-aging.
So you know how I like to pH test my skincare products.
Yep.
So I use 2 different brands of pH test strips to check the pH levels of Balancing Act and Gimme. The readings came out somewhat unclear. So with my older pack of test strips, it looked like the products were matching a pH 6 or 7. Then I got a newer packet from a different brand. The readings were potentially a 4 or 5. I know home testing is never going to be the same as testing in a lab, but it would be good to hear from you how you ensure that Soteri creams remain at 4.7 once they've left the production line.
Yeah, so we actually test for pH a little bit differently. So pH strips are actually, as you know, not very precise and are actually made to measure the pH of colorless water solutions. They actually don't work really well when you're using when you're putting them into contact with creams and cosmetic products that may have color that affects the color of the strip, or have oils and other ingredients that just react with the pH strip a little differently. So we use something called a flat electrode pH meter. And it's, I've seen it, Rafal has this very cumbersome device in his lab. I have no idea how to use it, but he uses it religiously on any products that come out of our manufacturing. So first we test the products right after they leave our production line, and we also keep samples from every batch that we keep and we test periodically over time to make sure that they're sustaining the ideal pH. So far we've tested up to 2 years, and we know that the products can sustain this optimal pH for over 2 years, but we definitely want people to use the product within hopefully a shorter time period than that if they're using it regularly.
Yeah, I think it says 6 months on the packaging.
Yeah. And that's because it's just going to work better if it's fresher. A lot of cosmetic and skincare products out there, they use an abundance of preservatives. And we were actually really careful with our formulation because a lot of these preservatives can lead to irritation. So every preservative that we have in our product, that we need to have in our product, we researched thoroughly to make sure they were as non-irritating as possible. The lower pH of our products also enhances the life cycle. I'm struggling to find the word. The lower pH of our products actually enhances the longevity of the products as well. And then in addition to that, we use airtight bottles that are able to help us maintain freshness. So by using all of those approaches, we're able to reduce the need for extraneous irritating preservatives.
Yeah, on the freshness point, I noticed on the bottles it says this product was freshly prepared, something like that. What does it mean, freshly prepared, compared to how else?
So we've actually taken that line off of our packaging, but that's something that we're really proud of. We wrote that in our bottles in the beginning because we wanted to show that these were not bottles that were produced and sitting in a warehouse for 2 years, a year before even getting to you. Like these are made, and they're going to be as, active and effective as possible, and they're not going to be chock full of preservatives.
Good. And do you intend to maintain that? You're not going to end up leaving them in a warehouse at some point, maybe when the product grows?
Yeah, like we're definitely trying to make sure that we're able to maintain the freshness of the product that people receive. Even now, as we've grown our product portfolio, like we don't add those extra irritating preservatives. And we're relying on the airtight bottles and the lower pH and the bare minimum of preservatives that we do have to use to make sure that we have a normal, healthy shelf life. Of course, this also depends on user compliance once they receive the product as well, right? Like if they keep it in their bathroom for 2 years, it's not as great as if they use it in the beginning.
Which skin conditions do you target, or do you see the most improvement from with your customers so far?
So this product was originally formulated for eczema because my co-founder's family, his wife, his baby daughter, they all suffer from eczema. And I also suffer from both psoriasis and eczema. So I'm a fun combination of both itchy combinations. And so because of that, that's what it originally started for, and that's where we've done the most thorough testing. So I'd say that for eczema, Soteri Skin is amazing. Everybody with eczema should try us. Of course, I'm biased, but however, we've also seen amazing results on rosacea and acne and psoriasis, just because we've done clinical testing on people who have these chronic skin conditions, and they've seen these amazing results as well. So focused on eczema, but we're starting to see that it's great on other skin conditions, and we're we're very excited about the potential for pH correction in even more conditions moving forward. We're even looking into creating pH correcting formulations for, say, feminine care, for instance, because this could help with irritation there as well, where pH is so crucial.
Well, you heard that here first, folks. And now that we're moving towards the end of this review video, I need to tell you what happened next in my trial with the 4 Soteri Skin creams. To recap, about 14 weeks ago, I started using Balancing Act. It was initially tingly, stingy. I know that's supposed to mean it's working, but it felt potentially too strong for my skin and maybe not quenching enough. Then I began incorporating Bebe Skin. Then no more rough patches. Then I tried Gimme More, which I settled on as the fave for my skin. Well, at the end of week 13, I decided to give Balancing Act another go. Lo and behold, there was no stinging, no discomfort. It didn't feel too strong. It felt good. Still not as quenching as I used to prefer, but I didn't feel the same urge to slather extra moisturizer on top as I had 3 months ago. And for the past few days, I've been using Balancing Act morning and night, comfortably. There can still be some slight tingling at times, like when I apply it after I've been cleansing with cotton pads, but I assume that's because I've been rubbing, and I remind myself that tingling apparently means my skin's pH is being corrected. So, did my skin change and adapt over those weeks? Why does it feel fine with Balancing Act now? Is this an indication that Soteri's formulation has reset or corrected my skin's pH level? Has it repaired my skin barrier? And does this mean I now have healthier skin than when I started out 14 weeks ago? It'd be nice to think yes. Which brings me on to my roundup of likes and dislikes about my trials with Soteri Skin. We'll start with the dislikes. Firstly, that stinging. The initial tingling and discomfort when I started out with Balancing Act wasn't nice. For someone with a history of sensitive skin, it rang alarm bells for me. But as Jen told us in my interview, you can think of the tingling as your skin's pH being corrected. Secondly, Balancing Act and Gimme More come in bottles with silver lettering on the side. That lettering has begun to rub off on both bottles. What I don't like is the possibility that it may be coming off into my hands and therefore maybe getting rubbed into my face. I haven't noticed any silver-coloured particles on my face, but the lettering's presumably rubbing off onto somewhere. Finally, within my 14 weeks of using these creams, there was that observation of those small bumps I mentioned, like ones I've had in the past, so they could have nothing to do with these Soteri products. And while I can still see and feel some of the bumps and unevenness really close up, I can't determine whether I'm paying unnecessarily close attention to them because I'm reviewing a skincare line. Now it is time for my likes. First up is the reason I wanted to try Soteri's products in the first place, the slightly acidic pH level. Not many brands list the pH level on products. Using Soteri creams that are meant to lock the skin at pH 4.7 for at least 12 hours at a time makes me feel like I'm proactively helping my skin stay in a healthy zone that could help prevent the growth of unwanted bacteria. Remember, I had a staph infection on my face. I want to do what I can to avoid that. Also, Jen mentioned an anti-aging benefit to pH correction too. Secondly, the brand's founders seem to have personal experience with real-life skin issues. If you read their story on the Soteri website, you'll see it explains that Rafal, who's a biochemist, watched his wife and daughter suffering with eczema, getting no relief from prescriptions and other remedies. And Jen, who you heard from in my interview, had struggled with psoriasis for much of her life. I admire them for developing a formulation they say has helped them and may now become part of a skin solution for others. Next, Soteri is a startup that is incubated at Harvard University, which means it's being developed with Harvard advisors and resources. I think that name and reputation adds weight to the brand from my point of view as a consumer. And I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing what other skin and body pH-focused products will come from Soteri in the future. Next, I like that I can't smell scents or fragrances in the products. They are fragrance-free, paraben-free, alcohol-free, and cruelty-free. And my final like is that something really may have changed with my skin in the last 14 weeks of using Soteri's products because of what happened when I applied Balancing Act at the end of my trial. It's led to a U-turn in my feelings towards Balancing Act and made me question the 30-day return policy that Soteri has, because theoretically I could have returned my bottle of Balancing Act within the first 30 days on the basis that it didn't feel right for me. But yet, here we are, more than 3 months later, and I'm now using it twice a day, quite comfortably. I've even ordered another bottle so that I can keep on using it. And I've also ordered another bottle of Bebe Skin because I'd like to keep using that too as a hand or body lotion. And maybe I'll use it on my baby's skin if she gets any dry patches. Before I go, I want to very quickly mention the costs of these products. Balancing Act and Gimme More are $49 each. Bebe Skin and No More Rough Patches are $35. Soteri runs subscriptions with savings. And don't forget, you have a Health Hackers discount. When you use that discount, I receive an amount at no extra cost to you. I like to be transparent about these arrangements. Please know my reviews represent good faith and honest opinion. See the details in the summary text that goes with this video. So that's it for this Health Hackers video review. If you enjoyed it, I would love it if you hit the like button or even subscribe and leave me a comment below. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.